it's Michael Venus from Never Apart. I'm in Los Angeles and had the opportunity to sit down with visual artist and culture conductor Ruben Esparza at the Ace Hotel.
Well, Red Studios is one of the many things that I do. It's a graphic design collaborative, and we do graphic design for nonprofits, entertainment business. It's kind of a moneymaker. So that's one of the things that I kind of run, but there's also rubenesparza.com and the Queer Biennial and the queerbiennial.com. And so that's just one of there's like the commercial side and also the fine art side of the three different properties, if you will. I don't know what to call them. Yeah. I am an artist that happens to take pictures, that happens to paint, that happens to do graphic design, that happens to take pictures. So it's funny because I go out about town in LA because I know a lot of the folks here and the art world. And so I'll go out and take pictures and, oh, you're a photographer. And I tell them, no, I'm not a photographer. I'm an artist that takes pictures, like really bad pictures, which is very liberating. So that's just one angle, but I'm also a painter. So it's a very formal part of the work that I do. It's painting. And I've always liked the romantic notions of painting, you know, the old world of like you sit in front of a canvas and you paint, you know. But among those disciplines, I'm also, I can draw and kind of all those very formal art. When you think of art, it's the things that I feel that I've conquered, you know, so. And graphic design. It's, you know, very structured, very disciplined, but it comes in very handy too with all the events and art things that I do, you know.
Why is it important to document the past, especially when we're talking about LGBTQ people?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I always tell the kids, you know, because I'm an elder statesman, I guess you could say, because we as queer folk, we really don't procreate, so it's not like we can pass that along to our kids, you know. So I think it's important to all the LGBTQ or queer generations to pass along this voice, especially now in these dire times, you know, with what's happening in our government. And so, for example, a lot of the tools from ACT UP or some of the things that happened across the Western continent in the 60s and 70s, where it was important to have a voice and take to the streets. And I've always felt that, and I think it's even stronger now because of what's going on. But it's important to pass that legacy, not just in book form or in magazines or literary agents, but also physically meeting people and talking to them and tell those stories. Back in the day, you know, that kind of stuff. I love that. And if somebody calls me an old faggot, that's okay. You know, that's okay. The Queer Biennial is a thing that I created 2014. And, you know, as a culture and as an artist, I felt that I was not seeing queer-centric work or really kind of radical or really progressive or experimental work that was queer-centric. And so I told myself, shut the fuck up and do something about it. And so I decided to start that. And I thought it was a brilliant idea to start that, if I do say so myself. And I shared this with many different artists across the people that I know. And the first iteration was LA, New York, and parts of in between. So it was like a very American-centric exhibition show. But deep down, I felt that it was going to grow, you know? And so, yeah, it started that in 2014. And then we had the second one just last year, which we titled Youth Lost and Found. And I thought it was important to, if you're going to have a queer biennial, it was important to touch on the AIDS scourge and how it had a role in the our queer history, and so I felt it was important to do that. And so we invited artists that came of age during that period, And then we invited young artists to touch on the lineage of queer history that kind of made an impact in our culture. And this third iteration is titled What If Utopia? It's almost like a counter to this kind of sad referencing of the AIDS scourge. And we're hoping to be a more dynamic, I don't know, what would be your queer utopia? We don't know. And we're proposing that question to these people that we're inviting to be a part of the Queer Biennial. And we're expecting some really amazing things, I'm sure. Well, the next festival, the Queer Biennial for 2018, we're hoping to be kind of an international kind of thing. Last year, we had a lot of satellite happenings across the country and mostly here in LA. But the next iteration, titled What If Utopia, we're hoping to involve a lot of kids, like from Canada and Europe, Asia, and do kind of these satellite happenings. Well, I'm working on several things at once. I come from the world of painting, so I'm continuing the painting. That's the current stuff that I'm working on. I'm working on a series of paintings that I've been doing for the last 10 years. I'm also doing collage work. I'm taking some old porn magazines and reappropriating them and bringing them into a contemporary kind of vibe. I'm also doing a show at the University of Minnesota, and I'm doing a series of blood paintings. It's kind of a very personal thing for me. It was of the people that were murdered in Orlando. So it's these blood paintings that I literally cut myself, part of that history of cutting, and I produce this artwork with blood, and it's kind of honoring the 49 victims of Orlando. So that's going to be in an exhibition in Minnesota, the University of Minnesota. What else am I working on? Oh, I'm also working on this. For the next 4 years, I made a promise to myself to work on an anti-Trump piece of work for every month. And I've already did January, which I'll show you. And I'm also working on February. And every month, and I'm also offering all of this original artwork for people that can send me an email. I'll send you the artwork files and you can print them for free. So every month I'm doing something anti-Trump. It's something that I made as a promise to myself, and I'm gonna keep it.